Democrats really don't get enough credit for the things they're really, really good at, like how they're good at failing at messaging or losing. And I think what's happening with the Supreme Court right now, and the Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett, is a perfect example of that. Now, keep in mind that Democrats have avoided talking about this rigged economic system we're living under because they're basically funded by the same corporate donors as Republicans. So instead, they've shifted 100% of their messaging toward identity politics. It's just the truth. It just is. And so since everything they do hinges on identity politics, they're in a bit of a pickle with Amy Coney Barrett, a woman who is successful and has 7 kids, one of whom I should say, was adopted from Haiti, and the other has Down syndrome. So what are Democrats gonna do to attack her? Are they gonna attack her religion? Are they gonna attack her because she has so many children? That's not gonna play so well. And so this video emerged over the weekend. An NBC News reporter tweeted it, and you see her coming out of her home with all her kids. And not just one, many Republicans on Twitter, including the one I'm about to share with you, tweeted this: "Good luck, Democrats." Because again, they really can't focus on identity politics here, because in terms of identity politics, she appears to be squeaky clean. And again, you might have problems with her religion, but attacking her religion is a loser, right? So now we're hearing that Senate Democrats recognize the danger. A top Democratic strategist pointed to 3 pitfalls: liberals mishandling this by boycotting or treating her with disrespect; Senator Dianne Feinstein, top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, screwing it up, which she's also very, very good at; and someone looking like a religious bigot. So they're stuck. They don't know what to do. And to be quite honest with you, the procedural methods that they have to try to delay a vote on Amy Coney Barrett won't go far enough in preventing her from getting confirmed. There's been some talk about boycotting the confirmation hearing. That's just gonna speed up the process. That means Republicans are just gonna vote yes, and you guys are done. So they've bungled everything. And it's not just, you can't just take this as an isolated instance, right? They bungled it with decades of poor decisions, and those poor decisions were funded by corporate donors who want them to focus on issues that matter to some extent. There's no question, like what issues of racism, sexism, homophobia, those issues matter. But if those are the only issues that you focus on, identity related issues, and you allow financial crimes to go by the wayside, corruption to go by the wayside, all of the other issues that Amy Coney Barrett has because she's a pro-corporate judge, well then you don't really have anything to attack her on, because you're not allowed to attack the fact that she's going to side with corporations over average Americans over and over again, just like all the other corporate judges that have been appointed by Republicans.
Okay, so let me tell you the things that are not going to work, and then I want to be realistic with you guys about what the options they have are, and then tell you why they're not going to do them. So first of all, the things that aren't going to work are boycotting so that none of the Democrats show up in the hearings. How does that make any sense? Will that slow it down? No, it's just oh yeah, we're just not gonna dignify the process. Totally, utterly useless. I don't know who came up with that ridiculous idea. No, in fact, it'll make it go quicker. I'm not interested in your theatrics. I'm interested in you actually stopping her from getting on the court. Secondly, apparently some people talking about her family. I don't even understand the point. By the way, she has 2 kids she adopted from Haiti. So the whole point of being pro-choice is you get to choose how big or small your family is. So that's bizarre. So don't get into her family, that's dumb, okay? Now, on to things that actually could work. First of all, they say that, there's nothing we can do. Dick Durbin said, we could slow it down perhaps hours, maybe days at most. Okay, so he's ready to surrender. I'm gonna get to his second quote in a second. That's not true. I laid out for you guys last week 5 different things that could significantly slow down the process, if not stop it altogether. But so far, Democrats have taken 4 out of those 5 options off the table already. And now they're saying basically the 5th option where we slow things down, we're not even gonna do that. They're just such losers. And what drives me crazy about the rest of the media is now they're all dutifully reporting, just like I told you on day one, there's nothing they can do. That's not true. There's 5 procedures they can do. They're choosing not to do them. And then, so then Durbin says, but we can't stop the outcome. What we should do is to address this now respectfully. In other words, lose with civility. I loathe these Democrats. I can't stand them. He's the number 2 Democrat in the Senate. They're gonna lose respectfully. By the way, what good would it do to delay it by a couple of days? Do you know when right now the current schedule, which is the fastest that the Republicans could possibly go, has them taking a full vote of the Senate on October 26th? That's only a week before the elections. Could you delay it by a week doing the procedures I laid out last week? Absolutely. But they're cowards and feckless and they're the worst. So they're not gonna do any of that. And will they challenge her on Citizens United? She's gonna make Citizens United permanent. The country despises Citizens United. Nope, they're gonna lay down like dogs because they are dogs to their donors. They're not even gonna fight on that issue. So, and then finally, look, on this religion issue, no, don't go and attack her for being Catholic. That doesn't make any sense. And the Republicans with their false thing about, oh my God, how could a Catholic suffer all this kind of bigotry and discrimination? They just don't want any Catholics on the Supreme Court. She would be the 6th Catholic on the Supreme Court. And Gorsuch was raised a Catholic, so it's possible that it would be 7 out of the 9 justices that are Catholic. So what discrimination are you guys talking about? On which planet? What, do you want 9 out of 9 to be Catholic? That's insane. But yes, I would ask her, she literally has a handmaid. They changed the name recently, but that is what it is. And according to her sect, she is supposed to ask her for advice on all decisions. So is she gonna ask her handmaid for help on Supreme Court decisions? If so, we really gotta meet the handmaid and find out if she's qualified too. So, but they won't do any of that. Durbin just told you, they will lay down respectfully. The Democrats sicken me.
Well, look, they're gonna lay down respectfully because they refuse to attack her where it makes sense to attack her. The pro-corporate ideology is an issue, but it's an issue that the Democratic Party has as well. I mean, they've sided with corporations as well, and they know that making that argument is going to upset their donors. But on top of that, look, like they're just, even if they wanted to attack her correctly on the issues that matter, they're so bad at it. They're so rusty at it. I mean, look, if you want to be good with your donors, you can just focus on the one issue that I think is the least likely to play out well for Americans, and that's the Affordable Care Act. Amy Coney Barrett is gonna help repeal the Affordable Care Act. People aren't going to have healthcare protections that were given to them through that legislation. Yes, that legislation, that law ended up being incredibly flawed for a number of reasons that we've repeated on this show several times. But there are still important protections, like protections for people with pre-existing conditions, which will be gone as soon as the Affordable Care Act is completely repealed. And that is gonna be a disaster, especially at a time when we're still dealing with a pandemic. We're seeing numbers of coronavirus cases increase in dozens of states again. And we're about to enter flu season. We're about to enter the winter. When the holidays happen, when people are gonna gather, they're not gonna care about listening to social distancing guidelines. We're really in for it. And so that is an easy line of attack against Amy Coney Barrett. And I don't know why they're not effectively using that line of attack and instead talking about the size of her family. Who cares about the size of her family? I don't care about her personal decisions. I also don't want her personal choices to impact or dictate the lives of other women. So you want to attack her on what she could possibly do to reproductive rights? That makes sense as well, but you gotta frame it correctly. You gotta frame it strategically and not give Republicans ammo to then turn around and say that the Democratic Party is full of religious bigots. Because quite honestly, some of the rhetoric and discourse I've seen online does make them seem like religious bigots, and it's not a good look. Especially when they've put everything into identity politics for decades now.
But Anna, look, even if they did the Affordable Care Act thing, which I'd be surprised if they didn't go to that well eventually. I mean, how incompetent can they be? But honestly, at the end of the day, that isn't gonna matter at all because we're not trying to win a vote here. She doesn't have to win a popularity contest. All the Republican senators that they need have already declared loyalty to her. She's going to win the vote.
We need to get those senators out, though.
Yeah. But by that time, it'll be too late. They'll have a 6-3 majority for the next 30, 40 years. It's over. It's over for the Supreme Court. And so, given how they stole the Merrick Garland seat, because they said it was a year before the election, you gotta let the people decide. This one they're gonna fill literally a week before the election. If you can't pull out every procedural stop to block that, you're losers. So I told you, you could block the debt ceiling, you could block continuing resolutions, you could call for impeachment after impeachment, which with the taxes story is easy. You could threaten to expand the courts, and you could actually deliver on that threat. The Democrats have taken all that off the table already because they're epic losers. But the last one is asking for unanimous consent on every vote. Can it slow it down by about a week? Maybe it could, but you gotta start right now. Why are you letting the Republicans do any votes in the Senate? No, ask for unanimous consent, make them come in the building and break and get 51 votes for every single vote, for every post office, for everything they have to do between now and the election. Take them off of their campaign circuit, to make them stop going to donor fundraisers, and they'll panic. But the Democrats don't want to do that because they also don't want to stop going on that donor circuit because they also have elections and they also are money grubbing, awful politicians. So they're gonna let her walk onto the Supreme Court. And from then on, everybody will always lie to you that there was nothing the Democrats could do. And it is nothing but a lie. They're choosing for the billionth time in a row not to fight. I can't stand them.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.